Okay, we've got one more. Massive fallout with business partner over cheating scandal. What's next? Welcome to Small Biz Nightmarez, the show about the horror stories that unfold in small biz ownership. I'm your host, Amanda Braschi. I'm a freelance copywriter and fellow small business owner. And today I'm joined by MK Drana, also known as Whisk Chick on socials. MK, thank you for being here for our very first episode.
Hey, Amanda. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Okay, so we're going to get into some small biz nightmares that we have sourced, some stories to share, and they are cake decorating specific. So I'm excited to see you react to them.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's exciting.
But first, I'd love to hear if you could just introduce us to yourself, your business, what you do. Tell us all about you.
I'm MK. I've been running Whisk Chick full-time for about 5 years. My main passion is cake decorating. So I do a lot of wedding cakes, birthday cakes, just special occasion desserts, and I offer a few other custom decorated desserts as well, like cookies and cupcakes and things like that. So I really focus on like the artisan product. I really put a lot of thought into the design of everything that I make, and that's really what I specialize in. Like I said, I've been doing this full time for 5 years. I have a background in more like general pastry.
Okay.
And now a big part of my job is social media too, which is kind of crazy that just kind of happened as I was trying to promote my business. And I'm so thankful for the way that it all unfolded. And now I do put quite a bit of effort into my TikTok account. And that's kind of turned into a side hustle as well.
Very cool.
That's been great.
Yeah. Okay, now I'm going to read to you some stories, some nightmares we have found. Most of these are from Reddit, all related to cake decorating or baking in some way. And I am anxious to see how you would have reacted in some of these situations and just if you have any insights for these people, perhaps. Okay, the first one is from KeyKing3606 on Reddit. It's titled, "Am I the a-hole for refusing this order?" And here's the story. Here's the long story made short. I have this client order a birthday cake and 12 cake pops for her daughter. Everything is confirmed, even though it takes her multiple days to get back to me with confirmation. 2 days before her cake pickup, she asked me if I can make her a second cake. I tell her I can do it with the same flavor, but if it's for a different flavor, then it's too short of notice. She understands and picks up her 1 cake and 12 pops. Last Sunday, she writes to me wanting to order a cupcake bouquet. We go back and forth and agree that I will be delivering them to her. She gives me her address. I let her know that I will get back to her for pricing since my price sheet is only for 12 or 6 cupcakes, not 7, which is the number of cupcakes in a bouquet. Didn't know that. The bouquet of cupcakes is not a listed item. It's something that I do on an exceptional basis. Monday afternoon, I let her know the price and tell her to confirm so that we can proceed. No answer. Mind you, this order is for Wednesday, so 2 days later. Tuesday evening, I texted her again, advising that I needed confirmation by tonight if we will proceed. She doesn't answer. She ends up texting me the morning of, so that day, and saying 7 cupcakes. Not even that she confirms the price or anything. Mind you, she never even confirmed the colors. I reply to let her know that I can no longer accommodate her order. She gets all mad and lets me know that she has already confirmed by saying she needed 7 cupcakes and giving me her address. I tell her that this is not a confirmation. As a baker, I need clients to confirm the pricing given. I cannot start an order only for the client to tell me that it is too expensive for them. In that case, I will be the one taking the loss. And now she's saying that she's not broke to not be able to afford a $35 order or whatnot. My policies are clear. Orders need to be placed 1 week in advance with a 50% deposit, none of which she did. So am I the a-hole for this? This is a new business for me, and now I'm scared that she will go around tainting the name.
Okay. I mean, obviously the baker, not the a-hole.
Mm-hmm.
To get a cupcake bouquet for $35 is a crazy price. First of all, so that person should raise their prices.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's nothing else you could have done in that situation. They even tried 2 days beforehand and the day beforehand to confirm, and the client didn't respond.
So what about having like policies in place? Like what policies do you have around your orders? If people need to cancel or change something last minute, or if they don't, how do you handle deposits or anything like that?
Well, payment is always due before they pick it up.
Yeah.
So if you don't pay, you're not getting it.
Yeah.
And I think if someone didn't pay and then still expected to be able to pick up the cake and pay, and this is where I have very clear like due dates on everything. Yeah. If it's a repeat client, sometimes I'll let it slide because I'm like, I don't know, I know that you're trustworthy. Right. Clearly, though, this person was a repeat client and they didn't have that experience. Yeah. But I guess in my experience, like I don't think you should be worried about that client going around and saying anything, because even if they do that, you have full grounds to stand on to say, no, actually, this is my policy and you broke it.
Yeah. So that, I guess, would be my counter to this, though, was this person enforcing that policy? Because they said that the person never confirmed the colors or anything, or didn't even do the deposit, I guess. So should they have pursued this in the first place, I guess?
No.
And they didn't end up making it, I suppose. But like, yeah, it's all these client red flags. Even if the first purchase went well, you know, it was a last minute request and it wasn't accommodated.
Right. I mean, I really try to let someone know if I am canceling their order.
Yeah.
So if the order is a week away, I'm emailing to confirm, trying to send an invoice. They haven't responded. I think if it's coming time to bake the cake 2 days beforehand or whatever it is, and they haven't responded to anything and I didn't bake the cake, I send an email saying, hi, just letting you know your order has been canceled.
Yeah.
If you think this is a mistake, please let me know. And then that way there's no way they could still think they could come pick it up.
Right. Okay, let's go into another one. This one from Unusual Patient 6925 on Reddit says, customer came in furious about the cake I made, saying it was like lead, and everyone at the party was furious. I got an order for vanilla cake with vanilla buttercream decorated with coconut flakes, so I made just that. I used the same vanilla cake I always use and had just used for a wedding cake that everyone loved, as well as a Russian buttercream with a touch of powdered sugar, and adorned it with coconut flakes. I tasted every component as I went, and they were delicious, in my opinion. I feel so bad for disappointing them like that, and refunded the whole cake, but I guess I'm just looking for moral support. Has this ever happened to you? I'm honestly at a loss. How could it have been so bad that they came in and yelled at my staff? I'm new to baking, about a year or two in, and this is my first unhappy customer, and it's really getting to me. Then there's updates to this story.
Okay.
Update number 1. They did bring the cake back, and it looks exactly like one singular bite was taken out of it. I'm not sure if it just wasn't what one person was expecting or there was a miscommunication on the order, but yeah, they brought back the whole cake minus one bite. I had my staff taste it, and they all said it was delicious. Update number 2. This guy is about 75 years old. I just went in and tasted it and got extra context. He kept referring to me as an incompetent amateur. He said he usually makes his cakes himself, but couldn't because his ovens are being replaced. The lead reference was due to the total weight of the cake, not the density of the crumb, just that his 9-inch double-layer buttercream cake was heavier than his, not something he complained about when I gave him the cake yesterday. He said the buttercream was slimy, which is just flat out inaccurate, unless when he tasted it, it had been baking in the sun for hours and had melted. It was cuttable and holding great shape when I tasted it. When he ordered, he told my staff, "Do what you do. My wife always loves your cakes." I thought it was delicious, and he was pretty aggressive and awful to my staff, so I guess I feel better about this one now.
Anyone who is telling you everyone hated the cake is lying to you. There is something else going on.
Yeah.
Even if you really do serve a cake that's bad, like, people are just gonna sit there and look at each other and say, this cake is
together
terrible.
agree, be like, can we just agree this cake is horrible?
That's a lie. I think with this man, he maybe felt threatened that his wife loves your cakes when he is also a baker.
Yeah.
I think this is a one-off situation where there's clearly something else going on, and this man feels the need to bring you down. And sorry, it happens. Sometimes people let their own ego get in the way, or their own personal things, and it's not a reflection of you at all.
I also find that, like, in my experience, my worst clients are the ones who have a similar skill set to me, like other writers or other like creatives. Usually I work best with like left brain, kind of more technical clients, because writing and copywriting isn't their forte. But if there's somebody who has a copywriting skill set, it's that much harder for me to give them a service without them having their own experience to bring to it. I don't know. Have you ever made a cake for another baker?
I don't know that I've ever made another like custom birthday cake for a baker. I'm sure I have at some point. Not that I recall, but it is always a little like, oh, I hope, nervous. But people say that to me all the time if they're making a baked good for an event and they're like, oh, they're not even good. Like, MK, like, just whatever, like this is nothing compared to what you do.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here, I'm like, I eat McDonald's chocolate chip cookies. Like, I promise I'm not going to sit here and judge you.
How is the McDonald's chocolate chip cookie? On the scale of cookies, is it a good cookie?
A 5.
A 5?
You got to get it warmed up, though.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
Me
My husband really likes the
exposing
pies.
myself. Oh,
I
yeah.
shouldn't have said that, but he does really like the pies.
Hey, fair enough, right? I think the most nervous I've been is making birthday cakes for my mother-in-law because she is like genuinely the sweetest woman in the world, but she's an incredible cook and an amazing baker. And I'm like, I hope she likes it. And she always does. She's like so sweet.
Did you get your baking bug that way or from your family?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I made like Christmas cookies and stuff growing up like with my mom, but I think I was much more interested in the cake decorating piece of it, which I just kind of picked up myself like in high school, I guess.
That's cool. This one from Flamin' Funyon on Reddit. Had a bad cake catastrophe last night. Anyone got some good stories or sympathy to offer? And here's the story. I have made probably around 75 wedding cakes since I started making them, and nothing like this has ever happened. This wedding cake was a 2-tier, the top tier buttercream and the bottom covered in fondant petals. I just got a new car that has sports suspension, and it was my first time delivering a cake in it. Uh-oh. I didn't realize I didn't realize how freaking bumpy this car is, not to mention it was a 40-minute drive to the venue through a bunch of construction, making it even more bumpy. Well, I'm about 5 minutes from the venue and I noticed the frosting on the top tier looking a little weird. I keep driving and within 3 minutes, the entire top tier's frosting was sliding off all sides of the cake. Obviously, this was not something I could touch up, so I decided I had no choice but to turn around and go back to the bakery and try to fix it. At this point, it was an hour and a half before the reception was supposed to start. Ugh. But it was going to be a 40-minute drive to the bakery and back again. I get back to the bakery and fix the cake, but by the time I left, the reception had already started. I called the mother of the bride right before the reception started and told her I'd be giving her a full refund and that the cake wouldn't be there in time. Well, I finally got back to the venue and the reception was halfway over. I snuck the cake in the best I could, embarrassingly with tears in my eyes, and spoke with a bridesmaid apologizing and explaining again. I left and, of course, cried the entire drive home. I know this shit happens, but holy crap, that is the worst feeling in the world. I'm glad that they got to get pictures of the cake and that it was there in time to cut it, but it was still the worst feeling ever, and everyone is extremely angry that I was late. The only thing I can do is give them a full refund, but I'm afraid they're going to give me a bad review online or something. I've only had my business for a few years and don't have many reviews as is. I hope I handled the situation well. Anyone else have horror stories to get off their chest?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, that's so tough. I think I'm a little confused on what happened because how did you buy a car not knowing about the suspension, I guess? And also, how...
I think they probably knew the car had the sports suspension, but they did not know the impact it would have on a cake.
I just have so many questions because also, like, you can drive a cake on a bumpy road and there's vibrations and you just go slow and it's okay.
How do you transport a cake?
Yeah, just carefully and you transport it cold.
And are you doing it in sections then?
No, usually I deliver it assembled. Okay. Usually, unless it's too tall to fit in my car, which happens sometimes.
That's true.
I think if the frosting was sliding off, sounds like the frosting wasn't cold enough. And this is one of those things that you'll only know by learning from experience. So, like, I hate to blame the baker, but, like, I think clearly they know they're at fault here.
Yeah.
And I think the cake wasn't cold enough. Also, to put fondant petals, it said, right, on the bottom tier. I guess I don't know how they did it. I can see a number of ways that you could do that it would go terribly wrong if you don't do it right. And that's where fondant's just really finicky to work with.
Yeah.
If your buttercream's sliding around, that means your cake's not cold enough. And a 40-minute drive is not long enough to like fully melt in the car if you have your AC on. But maybe they didn't know. But if they've, this is where I'm like, if you've delivered 75 wedding cakes, how do you not know that? So a learning lesson for all, something you would only, again, know from experience from actually making the mistake. And I think you take that in the future and you just learn and grow from it. And I know that's just the most awful feeling in the entire world to disappoint a client. But I do think the way you come back from something like that is the way you react, right?
Right.
So if you're going and blaming all these exterior things and saying, well, I still delivered a cake, so I'm not refunding you. Like, I think they did everything right, apologizing. I would not have called the mother of the bride. I would have talked to a wedding coordinator or a venue coordinator because that's just added stress to like the family. But then if the mother of the bride was listed as like the day of contact, what else are you supposed to do? Good on you for fixing your mistake and still going to deliver the cake.
Through.
Yeah. I think a lot of people would say, I'm so sorry, I'm not delivering the cake. I'm gonna give you a refund, and just be too ashamed to even try. But the fact that they still went back to fix it, came back, apologized, gave a full refund. I think that's all you can do in that situation. So they did everything right.
Have you had that kind of day of panic situation?
No, but once I delivered a cake in the wrong room in a venue, and it was a big cake. It was a 4-tier cake, and they had like 2 separate venues. And since it was such a big cake, I guess I just assumed it was going in the bigger space. And unusually the venue had 2 weddings on the same day. And so I went in, delivered it in like the big hall where most weddings there are, talked to the venue staff person, and like everything seemed fine. They were setting up for a wedding. And then I left, and I had 2 other wedding deliveries that day after that. And I got a call from the wedding planner, and she said, hey, so we're not in that room. We got to move the cake. And since it was so big, I'm like, okay, no one touch it. I will come back. Thank God that the venue was close. But I looked back, and I didn't have the room specified on the invoice because I just didn't think that I had to have it. And then it was such a big cake. I'm like, I still don't understand how they fit that many people in the smaller room. But lesson learned now to make sure you know exactly where the cake is going.
Needs to be dropped in the right location.
Yeah. So I guess that's probably the closest thing to that.
Yeah.
I've had small touch-ups I've had to do after delivering a cake, like on site. And I always bring a little repair kit.
I was going to say, do you have like a little first aid kit?
Yes, I do.
Oh, that's cool.
A little extra frosting bag and all of that, and a spatula. But thankfully, I worked for a custom cake shop in high school, and I went on a lot of their wedding deliveries. So many mistakes like that, like not transporting the cake cold. Like I just learned all of that like right off the bat as a 17-year-old.
Yeah,
and I'm so thankful for that, because so much of that knowledge is things that you can only really learn from actually just getting out there and doing it.
After this, after I read these, we'll pick which one we thought was the worst.
Okay.
Like the worst nightmare.
Okay. Definitely wedding.
It was definitely that one. Yeah. It still is.
So far.
Still is.
So far.
Okay. The next story or nightmare is from Bunny Shoots on Reddit, called Horrible Cake Day, Very Rude Client. I've been baking for more than 5 years now and had my first bad review. They didn't like the design. Understandable. Their sample image was created from ChatGPT, and I'm just a human.
Oh, that's my biggest pet peeve.
I want to ask you about that.
Okay, sorry to interrupt.
No, that's all right. The client said, we tried you because you came from a recommendation, but your cake was bad. We had 18 people and everyone thought the same. Very similar to the other story, this group of people deciding they hate the cake together.
I just don't believe it.
No one touched it, and it's lying in our fridge. I've refunded the person 50%. I asked if I could have a few photos of the cut cake and pick some up myself to know where I went wrong and how to improve. To which the customer said, oh, you want a sample? It should be enough for you to know that your customer hated it. I apologize.
They ate the whole thing. Sorry again to interrupt.
The whole thing. I apologized and offered a 30% refund, to which the customer said, if you don't pay us back half, I got a big name in the market and I'll defame you and no one will ever buy your cakes. I'm feeling so heartbroken, upset, and honestly bullied.
Yeah, that person's a bully. Okay, so many red flags here. I have gotten AI inspo photos and I make it very clear, hey, this is AI. I've even had like wedding planners send me AI wedding cakes and they don't even know.
Yeah.
Whereas I think sometimes the clients do know and they just don't care. And I have to set very realistic expectations and say, this is not real. This is not something that a human could create.
Right.
This is a more accurate idea of what I might be able to create for you when I send a real cake.
Yeah.
So that already is frustrating to me. I understand people use AI in ways that they think is really helpful, but is extremely unhelpful for artists.
Yeah, and unrealistic.
Yeah.
Yeah. My sister is a tattoo artist, and hairstyling and tattooing is like 2 other areas where these AI images keep coming in. People come into their hairstylist with a picture that does not exist on a person that does not exist and ask, can you put this on my head? And tattoos, it's similar to cake decorating. It's usually something that's super detailed and totally not realistic.
There's like light coming from the background somehow.
Right. It's like illuminated from within. Yeah. and just totally unrealistic. But you have a way of handling that now. But it's something that's showing up in your business.
Yeah. I mean, I try
Yeah.
my best. Or sometimes it's like I can decorate a cake like that, but it just won't look like that because that's not real life.
Right.
And that's kind of a whole other conversation. But so that's my first red flag.
Yep.
Second red flag is if they actually didn't think it was good, they would want to help you. If they were working in good faith, if they were sending you this email in good faith, they would bring the cake back or offer to send a chunk of it with you, saying everyone hated it, and then saying, "Oh, you don't believe me?"
Yeah.
Like they ate the whole thing.
They ate the cake.
Again, it's someone with an ego or something else didn't go right and they're taking it out on you. And that's just so frustrating. No one who actually has like a big name that could defame you would say that to you. That's crazy. So proceed with caution, I guess. I wouldn't give a full refund. I mean, if they can't supply proof that they didn't still like eat the whole thing. I mean, why should I refund you?
Very true.
You could send me a picture of all the slices with one bite taken out, and that might be enough for me. But even then, who's to say they didn't eat the rest of the slice?
Right. Well, even that other story, they brought the cake back with one bite gone. Just one bite gone.
Right.
But yeah.
Which just, I don't understand.
It sounds to me like this
people.
person just wanted cake and their money back.
Yeah. And again,
just
the ego thing. It's like there's something else going on with you, and I'm sorry you feel the need to take it out on me, but try somebody else.
Yeah. Okay, we've got one more. This one is from Reddit. The username has been deleted. So just from Reddit. Massive fallout with business partner over cheating scandal. What's next? This one's juicy. As the title suggests, I had a massive fallout with my business partner because of his inability to keep it in his pants. I previously made a post about this seeking advice, and unsurprisingly, it imploded within a month. Just 3 months ago, I opened a restaurant/bakery with a longtime friend of over 10 years. I invested $45,000, nearly all of my savings, into the venture. This unraveled fast. His girlfriend, also a longtime friend, found some shady shit in his secret apartment that he, in parentheses, writes off as a business expense. I don't know how that happens. And confronted me. She clearly suspected that I was involved. I wasn't, and I had to tell her everything I knew. More on that in previous post. All in all, this man has been a nightmare to fucking work with, and when his girlfriend confronted him, there's no way he didn't know it was me that told her. I told him I'd like to get out of the restaurant. He agreed to fully reimburse me in a few weeks, but I'm not holding my breath. Legal side of things are handled. I already have a great lawyer. What I really need help with now is figuring out the next steps. I'd love to have my own bakery, my own space. I'd love to be fully independent. I don't know how to go about doing that from here. So any advice, insight, or resources would mean a lot. Thank you for reading.
I know they're asking for advice, insight, or resources, but for the purpose of this podcast, I have so much to say about this. Going into business with a friend is a huge, huge risk.
It is.
Huge
Friends
risk.
and family.
Right.
Friends and family.
So how have you been friends for 10 years? And then all of this, quote, directly from the OP is shady shit going on. Like, it's not just one thing. It seems like it's so many things going on and you had no idea.
It seems like we didn't know this person when we signed on with $45,000.
It seems like
together.
Friend might mean someone I knew.
Right.
And I don't know. I mean, there's always exceptions, right? Maybe things really did take a turn for the worst, like immediately after you started working together. But I just feel so bad for this person that it's someone they trusted and now have had to learn this lesson the hard way. What a nightmare. True small biz nightmare.
Yeah, that's like a textbook one, I'd say.
Yeah, absolutely. I have no legal advice. I'm so sorry. I wish you the best of luck.
Apparently the legal side's handled, which is great.
Right. Okay,
I'm glad. Like, hopefully that this person does get their money back. But that stings, and that's going to damage, the thing with working with friends is it damages a lot of relationships professionally and personally. And it's just not, it's kind of I feel like it's a story so many people tell. And it's so exciting if you have a friend, especially if there's somebody with a similar interest, similar skill set, to have that like, oh, we could do this together. And doing something with someone is always so much more promising and, exciting. But it's a huge risk. Totally.
And someone can be an amazing friend. I don't think this man was.
Right.
Theoretically, someone can be an amazing friend and still not be a good business partner. It's so hard to separate the two.
Yeah. All right. So now that we've read through these nightmares, let's rate them. And I will remind you what we were just looking at. We had the one with the ChatGPT cake.
So are we rating like
We're going to rate which, we can just pick which one you thought was the worst, but I'm going to just refresh the ones we read through.
Okay.
We had the woman who ordered the cupcake bouquet and then never confirmed that she wanted it. We had the man who returned a cake with one bite out of it and exclaims that he himself was a baker. Then we had the massive fallout with a business partner over a cheating scandal where someone lost their bakery because their partner in business was cheating and had a secret sketchy apartment. And then we had the cake catastrophe where somebody had their cake pretty much melt right before it needed to be at a wedding, and they had to go back, fix it, and bring it back barely in time for the reception.
I think worst is cheating business partner scandal.
Mm-hmm.
Second worst is wedding cake delivery gone wrong.
Yes, I agree.
Third is, I feel like the last two are kind of the same level for me of like relatively low stakes. Even though when you're getting started, it feels so high stakes, like those kinds of situations. It's so scary
to have your first bad client interaction.
Yeah.
Even not a truly bad one, but even like your first completely neutral client interaction where you don't get like gushing positive feedback about something. It's just kind of like you feel like you have to just kind of let it live, let it go. You know, I remember when I first started my business and you kind of get into that where initially you have a lot of people that are really validating, oh, this service was so great. You made our website look great. You made our marketing so, you know, all this positive praise. And
it's
then
because we're all undercharging.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
When we get started.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then you get to people who really just need the product and they maybe don't even care about the quality or it's just not their priority. And you kind of have to sit with that like neutrality of like, okay, I did my job and I have to be the one to be like, I did a really good job with this, even if they're not going to give you that feedback back.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we have a separate segment. We asked on socials if people could submit. The idea with this is that we're going to ask a question, probably a different question every so often to get responses from business owners. And this week's question was, what is the wildest thing someone has said to you as a small business owner? And before we read these, I will ask you that question.
Okay. This happened in the moment that I decided to take my business full time and I was quitting my job, my last full-time job. And my boss at the time, like, berated me for like 30 minutes. And there were so many things said that I will quote shortly because they're burned into my brain and fuel me forever. But I had given a month notice because I knew it would take them a long time to it would take me a long time to hire someone the job I did. So I was like, I'm going to throw you a bone here and give you a full month notice. I thought that was very helpful. The owner of this business laughed at me, said, actually laughed out loud in my face when I told him. He said, "You'll never succeed as a small business owner. You're terrible at X, Y, and Z." Oh. And this also came after I asked for a raise 4 times.
Did you have this kind of relationship beforehand, or did it just exploded at that point?
No. It just exploded at that point, which was also very frustrating. Yeah. So it was, I really wanted to leave on good terms. And I thought we were kind of at a mutual agreement where I was like, I asked for a raise 4 times. And each time it was not really a clear answer, but it wasn't a no. It was like well, maybe if X, Y, and Z. And I was kind of like, if there's things that need to happen, tell me. But the amount I'm getting paid is just not worth it for me to do this job. So I thought after the 4th time, it was pretty clear that I was leaving soon, but clearly he was pretty shocked and not happy and just kind of said everything he could in that moment to make me feel small and make him feel big. Yeah. And just thing after thing of everyone you've worked with here is so disappointed and has hated working with you, and you're terrible at management and of ingredients and time, so you will never fail as a small business owner.
All these really specific things that are just gonna
and
hurt
I'm like, you couldn't have told me that a month ago. If you had these problems, I would have loved to talk it out. to actually find a solution. And that's where it really stung at the time, but I knew that was not really like a me problem.
Yeah.
Him having all these issues and not bringing them up. And so I still worked there for a full month after that, which was just like, I have to do all of my due diligence so that I know I did everything I could to leave on good terms because I just did not want this to be like a big thing in my career. Haven't heard from him since.
And you're doing just fine.
Thank you.
You're doing just fine.
I think he must know that I haven't failed by now.
Oh, yeah.
You know, all the articles and things. I stay on the brain in Milwaukee, I think, for the most part.
I'm sure that's exactly what he was afraid of in the moment. That's probably what he was afraid of.
Yeah, I think it really had nothing to do with me. I think he was just afraid of his own building, his own business. I mean, and I think he took a lot out on me that had nothing to do with me, and I think I know that now. Yeah. But at the time, it was like 30 minutes. I barely got a word in, and then I just left and cried and went home for the day. And then I came back the next day.
Oh, man. But you're here now.
Yeah, I'm here now. And like, I don't know, I that was a terrible experience. But like, I have no ill will towards him really now. Yeah. I mean, I think it was just a vulnerable moment for both of us, to be honest. So, hey, it is what it is.
Leaving a job is never easy. Every time I've quit a job prior to owning my own business, I've cried. Like, I've cried trying to quit the job because I just get so overwhelmed. And like, you know, it's just when you make a decision for yourself like that, especially like when I quit my last job in order to start my own business, you know, it's just kind of like, or when I quit, like I used to be a hairstylist. When I quit hairstyling to go back to school to become a copywriter, that was like, it's a tough decision. Never easy.
So that also just hit hard because it felt so personal. Yeah. But now I get a lot of really unhinged things people say to me totally anonymously, just like on the internet via TikTok comments. Yeah. And it's usually something that I can just, similar to the other story, just kind of place it into a box and say, I really don't think this has anything to do with me and it has everything to do with the person who commented it. Right. But I mean, I get a lot of comments that are just like, that's so much frosting. I would literally throw up if I ate all that. I'm like, then don't order it. Yeah. And I think I get the too much frosting comment a lot. Some come in more extreme forms, like what I just shared, or usually it's just wow, that's way too much frosting. Yeah. And I think what people don't understand is when the client wants a cake decorated a certain way, it just has to have that much frosting on it.
Someone requested this much frosting.
And someone requested.
The frosting people out there want this level of frosting.
And I know I'm a little biased, but my frosting's really good.
It's beautiful.
Thank you. Well, it's not like a grocery store shortening frosting, right? Which I think a lot of people are used to, that like overly sweet frosting. Yeah. And also it's not like I'm pointing a gun to your head and you have to eat all the frosting. Like, yeah, usually there's some frosting left on the plate and that's fine. But that is my longest negative comment, like my longest running one that I probably get the most. And sometimes I get more unhinged ones when I've been sharing kind of my house renovation journey. Okay. My husband and I bought an old home about a year and a half ago now. And so we've been doing a lot of projects. And I know some people comment things just to kind of like rage bait me and see if I'll respond. And that feels much more personal in a way because it's such an intimate part of myself, like where I live.
And you've opened that up in addition to what you've talked about with your business.
Yeah, exactly, which is very intimate. But at the same time, it's like when I'm making a cake, it's for a client. So if someone comments something mean about it, it's like, well, maybe the client thought that and didn't tell me. But with my house, it's like, I live here and I'm never inviting you over. So don't worry about it. These are all my choices to make, you know? Yeah. I feel like I've shared so much about my business, and I really want to hear your answer to this question of what's the wildest thing someone said to you?
I had a client. It was an in-person meeting. I actually met him at his home, which was maybe the red flag in the first half. His wife was there. We'll say that.
Okay.
He said I glowed like a pregnant woman and then proceeded to invite me to use his swimming pool on the weekends. So I majorly got the ick, majorly creeped out, and basically finished that engagement really professionally. And then, see you later.
Hey, good for
Here's
you.
my last invoice. We don't need to work together anymore. It wasn't worth it. It was one of my first clients. So I was really like, he had wanted to meet in person. He was local. Like a lot of what I do is remote. So it was somebody that wanted to meet in person. I love doing that. I love working with people locally. I was very excited to work on this project. And it just turned into a bit of an icky situation. So I backed out of that one real quick. Yeah.
I'm so sorry that happened to you. That sounds so uncomfortable and gross. And what a vulnerable position to be. I
couldn't even tell you how I and his wife had given me a tour of the house. It was a whole, when you're hair on the back of your neck is just telling you shouldn't be somewhere. It was totally like that.
You start to get that feeling.
Yeah. And I don't know, honestly, after the conversation happened, I couldn't tell you how I responded in the moment. I was kind of just dissociated from all of it. It was like, oh, this is so weird. I just need to get out of here, I think was the case. And I probably was like, oh, okay, I got my notes and I'll send you a recap email. We'll get this figured out. Left and then finished what I needed to do and sent the invoice. So,
well, good for you for finishing the job.
Yeah.
Gosh, I think situations like that is when creepy men give a comment that's weird. Sometimes people give the benefit of the doubt and they say, oh, he was trying to give you a compliment. He didn't know better. But I think then saying you can use our swimming pool on the weekends.
There was so many ways you could there are so many ways you could compliment me that aren't any of those things. Aren't any of those things.
Yeah. And just him going a step further with the swimming pool thing is showing no, this is creepy. There's no way around this situation where you can say, oh, well, he was just trying to be nice, or he just no, actually, why would we ever give him the benefit of the doubt?
No.
That's a crazy thing to say to anyone at all.
Yeah.
Especially someone you have a professional relationship with.
Exactly.
Well, again, I'm so sorry that happened.
Thank you. That's okay. We've healed. We've moved past that one pretty quick. But yeah.
Good.
Okay, we do have some submissions from Instagram. One is from Shade Tattoo Studio. I had a client ask for a refund on their tattoo 2 years later via a multiple paragraph text message at 4 a.m. Yikes. I mean, I don't know. You can't really do the refund on the tattoo regardless. I mean, it's the epitome of the permanent piece,
Right. But I have so many questions.
What happened in the 2 years where we decided we needed to, I can understand somebody wanting the tattoo change, their idea of the tattoo change. Maybe they'd want it covered up or something or expanded on. But to get just be I need to erase this purchase and go back to that business owner.
If it was infected or something, I guess I could see that, but that would have to be so much closer.
It would not
to
have been
tattoo.
2 years later.
And at 4 a.m.
4 in the morning. So this person obviously was lying awake at night thinking, I need to be refunded for this tattoo.
And again, I think there's a world in which maybe there's a lot of context we're missing.
Right.
And maybe finally they just had the courage to say something. I think
that's true.
More than likely they were up that late for God knows why and needed money and sent that text, which is actually so sad.
Yeah.
But that would make my toes curl if someone said 2 years after their wedding, I want a refund.
They're sitting down looking back at their wedding albums and they're like, you know what? I really didn't like this cake.
Let me email her
I really don't like how this cake photographed 2 years in the future. Oh, man.
Don't put that into the universe. I'm scared.
Okay, our next one is from Laura Lee. I owned a company that managed clinical trials for biotech organizations. A doctor from one of our trials came to a meeting in shorts and asked me to remove his knee surgery stitches in the conference room. I am an RN, so I did it, but it was very awkward professionally.
Again, I have so many questions. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
In a conference room?
In a conference room. The guy was a doctor himself, so maybe he's just somebody could do this. I know somebody who could do this.
And it's best case scenario, he just really needed it done and was kind of desperate and he felt like he was in the right place at the right time, maybe to ask another medical professional. Worst case scenario, again, creepy man, like wanting a reason to like need something from this woman.
Wound care? Like what?
Yeah, wound care is another level.
Wound care is another level. Don't you usually have an appointment set to get that removed, right?
How are we billing this?
So strange.
So strange.
Okay, our last one is from RM Creative Services. I have Gen X and Boomer men business owners say to me all the time at networking events, "You own a marketing agency, but you're so young." I usually reply, "Yeah, all millennials kind of look young. We didn't smoke cigarettes and we wore sunscreen in our 20s." So she's got she's got something to say back. She bites back when she hears this. Do you feel like you get that a lot in business about being young?
Yes. I think I used to do much more networking stuff, and also obviously I used to be younger.
Right.
So I think
that does change.
Right. I think I used to get that comment a lot more because I had very, very high aspirations and people were like, "You're pretty young."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Okay." And now that I have achieved so much more and I'm like, "Well, I did it. So what are you going to say?" Like I get that comment less.
Yeah.
And when I do, it is just from I think it's always from insecure men when you get a comment like that, but now especially I'm like, "All right. Hey, I did this already. You think I have big aspirations and I still do, but like, why would I doubt myself now?"
Right.
You know?
And not even just being young, but people just not taking you seriously.
Yeah.
I feel like especially as a solopreneur, and we kind of talked about this when we first talked, but you don't have staff. I don't have staff. I want to keep it that way right now. Like I like working for myself.
Yeah.
But there's this almost like at the same time that someone is saying like, "How do you have a business at so young?" or whatever, there's also this like, "Oh, you don't have the aspiration to grow it bigger?" I feel like I have a lot of people that way. They're like, "You could do so much more, but you're staying where you are. You're only by yourself. You're only taking on however many clients you can take. You're not getting subcontractors." Like I have a lot of people on the other side of that argument who are like bothered by the fact that I might not be scaling my business.
I totally get that too. All the time. I get that. Well, you're going to need employees someday.
Right.
And I think usually it's just people who have a really clear expectation of what growing a business looks like.
Right.
And they only see it that way. And it is usually men. Because they're not open to the idea that like maybe you want to do things differently or grow in a different way. And it's like this was always what was drilled into their head.
Yeah.
So that's just what they always think is true. And then you step outside the box and they feel the need to say, actually, that's not how business works. And you're like, well, actually, it can be.
It can be. Or that like working all the time might not be the goal of the small business owner. Like it might be the flexibility. It might be that I can work part-time hours and work on my house or something instead of having the business be my like complete soul suck.
And so many entrepreneurs who are working in a field they are really passionate about do it because they really love it, not just to build a business and make a ton of money. And that can be not always ideal in some ways, but in other ways it can help you stay really true to yourself and like what you actually want out of your career.
All right, so that's all we have for today's episode, our first episode of Small Biz Nightmarez. MK, thank you so much for being here. Where can people find you online to follow you?
Thank you so much for having me. You can find me at whisk.chick, WHISK.CHICK, and hear more of my silly little stories.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
If you have a small biz nightmare you'd like featured on the show, you can submit your story through the form in the description or send us an email. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and follow us at Small Biz Big Dreamz on Instagram and TikTok. Until next time, sweet dreams.